welcome to a Jurassic Park book reading. This is new. I hope you enjoy. Jurassic Park. A novel by Michael Christian. First iteration. Almost paradise. Mike Bauman whistled cheerfully as he drove through the Land Rover through the Cabo Blanco Biological Reserve on the west coast of Costa Rica. It was a beautiful morning in July, and the road before him was spectacular, hugging the edge of a cliff overlooking the jungle in the blue Pacific. According to the guidebooks, Cabo Blanco was unspoiled wilderness, almost a paradise. Seeing it now made Bowman feel as the vacation was back on track. Bowman, a 36-year-old real estate developer from Dallas, had come to Costa Rica with his wife and daughter for a two-week holiday. The trip had actually been his wife's idea. For weeks, Ellen had filled his ear about the wonderful national parks of Costa Rica and how good it would be for Tina to see them. Then, when they arrived, it turned out Ellen had an appointment to see a plastic surgeon in San Jose. That was the first Mike Bowen had heard about the excellence and inexpensive plastic surgery available in Costa Rica and all the luxurious private clinics in San Jose. Of course, they had had a huge flight. Mike felt she'd lied to him, and she had. And he put his foot down about the plastic surgery business. Anyway, it was ridiculous. Ellen was only 30. She was a beautiful woman. Hell, she had been homecoming queen in her senior year at Reese, and that was not even 10 years earlier. But Ellen tended to be insecure and worried, and it seemed as if the recent years she had almost worried about losing her looks. That and everything else. The Land Rover bounced in a pothole, splashing mud. Seated beside him, Ellen said, "Mike, are you sure this is the right road? We haven't even seen other people for hours." "There was another car 15 minutes ago," he reminded her. "Remember the blue one? Going the other way." "Darling, you wanted a deserted beach," he said, "and that's what we're going to get." Ellen shook her head doubtfully. "I hope you're right." "Yeah, Dad, I hope you're right," said Christina from the back seat. She was 8 years old. "Trust me, I'm right." He drove in silence for a moment. "It's beautiful, isn't it? Look at the view. It's just beautiful." "It's okay," Tina said. Ellen got out of the compact and looked at herself in the mirror, pressing her eyes. She sighed and put the compact away. The road began to descend, and Mike Bauman concentrated on driving. Suddenly, a small, black shape flashed across the road, and Tina shrieked, "Look, look!" Then it was gone into the jungle. "What was it?" Ellen asked. "A monkey?" "Maybe a squirrel monkey," Bauman said. "Can I count it?" Tina said, taking her pencil out. She was keeping a list of all the animals she had seen on her trip, as a project for school. "I don't know," Mike said doubtfully. Tina consulted the pictures in the guidebook. "I don't think it was a squirrel monkey," she said. "I think it was just another howler." They had seen several howler monkeys already on the trip. "Hey," she said more brightly, "according to this book, the beaches of Cabo Blanco are frequented by a variety of wildlife, including howler and white-faced monkeys, three-toed sloths, and camundus. You think we'd see the three-toed sloth, Dad?" "I bet we do." "Really?" "Just look in the mirror." "Very funny, Dad." The road sloped downwards through the jungle, towards the ocean. Mike Bauman felt like a hero when he finally reached the beach, a 2-mile crescent of white sands, utterly deserted. He parked the Land Rover in the shade of the palm trees in the fringed beach. He got out the lunch boxes. Ellen changed into her bathing suit, saying, "Honestly, I don't know how I'm going to get this weight off." "You look great, hon." Actually, he felt that she was too thin, but he learned not to mention that. Tina was already running down the beach. "Don't forget you need your sunscreen," Ellen called. "Later," Tina shouted over her shoulder. "I'm going to see if there's a sloth." Ellen Bowman looked over at the beach and the trees. "You think she's all right?" "Honey, there's nobody out here for miles," Mike said. "Well, what about snakes?" "Oh, for God's sake," Mike said. "There's no snakes on the beach." "Well, there might be." "Honey," he said firmly, "snakes are cold-blooded. They're reptiles. They can't control their body temperature. It's 90 degrees on the sand, and if that snake came out, it'd be cooked. Believe me, there's no snakes on the beach." He watched his daughter scampering down the beach, a dark spot on the white sand. Let her go. Let her go have a good time. He put his arm around his wife's waist. Tina ran until she was exhausted, and then she threw herself down on the sand and gleefully rolled into the water's edge. The ocean was warm, and there was hardly any surf at all. She sat for a while, catching her breath, and then she looked back towards her parents in the car to see how far they had come. Her mother waved, beckoning her to return. Tina waved back cheerfully, pretending she didn't understand. Tina didn't want to put sunscreen on, and she didn't want to go back and hear her mother talk about losing weight. She wanted to stay right here and maybe see a sloth. Tina had seen a sloth 2 days earlier at the zoo in San Jose. It looked like Muppet's character, and it seemed harmless. In any case, it couldn't move fast, so she could easily outrun it. Now her mother was calling to her, and Tina decided to move out of the sun back from the water, to the shade of the palm trees. And in this part of the beach, the palm trees overhung a gnarled tangle of mangrove roots, which blocked any attempt to penetrate the inland. Tina sat in the sand and kicked the dried mangrove leaves. She noticed many birds tracked in the sand. Costa Rica was famous for its birds. The guidebook said that there were 3 times as many birds in Costa Rica as there is in America and Canada. In the sand, some of the 3-toed birds' tracks were small and so faint they could hardly be seen. Other tracks were large and cut deeper in the sand. Tina was looking idly at the tracks when she heard a chirping, followed by a rustling in the mangrove thicket. Did sloths make a chirping sound? Tina didn't think so, but she wasn't sure. The chirping was probably some ocean bird. She waited quietly, not moving, hearing the rustling again, and finally she saw the source of the sounds. A few yards away, a lizard emerged from the mangrove roots and peered at her. Tina held her breath, a new animal for her list. The lizard stood up on its hind legs, balancing on its thick tail, and stared at her. Standing like that, it was almost like a foot tall, dark green with brown stripes along its back. It had tiny front legs, ending in little lizard fingers that wiggled in the air. The lizard cocked its head as it looked at her. Tina thought it was cute, sort of like a big salamander. She raised her hand and wiggled her fingers back. Tina thought the lizard wasn't frightened, and it came towards her, walking upright on its hind legs, and it was hardly bigger than a chicken. Like a chicken, it bobbed its head when it walked. Tina thought it would make a wonderful pet. She noticed that the lizard left 3-toed tracks that looked exactly like the little bird tracks. The lizard came closer to Tina. She kept her body still, not to want to frighten the little animal. She was amazed that it would come so close, but she remembered that this was a national park, and all the animals in the park would know that they were probably protected. This lizard was probably tame. Maybe it even expected her to give some food. Unfortunately, she didn't have any. Slowly, Tina extended her hand, palm open, to show she didn't have any food. The lizard paused, cocked its head, and chirped. "Sorry," Tina said, "I just don't have anything." And then, without warning, the lizard jumped on outstretched hand. Tina could feel its little toes pinching the skin of her palm, and she felt the surprising weight of the animal's pressure on her arm. And then the lizard scrambled up her arm towards her face. "I just wish I could see her," Ellen Bowman said, squinting in the sunlight. "That's all, just to see her." "I'm sure she's fine," Mike said, picking up the box lunch packed in the hotel. There was an unappetizing grilled chicken and some kind of meat-filled pastry, not that Ellen would eat any of it. "You don't think she'd leave the beach?" Ellen said. "No, hon, I don't." "I feel so isolated here," Ellen said. "I thought that's what you wanted," Mike said. "Well, I did." "Well, then what's the problem?" "I just wish I could see her is all," Ellen said. Then, from down the beach, carried by the wind, they heard the doubter's voice. She was screaming. First chapter of Jurassic Park.